Hey everyone, Tony here from Psych'd on Baseball Cards, and I'll bet you're wondering what I'm doing with the Oakland Raiders 1965 season poster here. Well, several months ago, made a comment on one of Joey Brings It videos that I was a ball boy for the Oakland Raiders at one time, and he suggested that I do a video about that. So I collected a bunch of material for this video, and I've just been kind of sitting on it and finally decided to just go ahead and do it. And I'll leave a link to Joey Brings It channel down below. He just does some great videos on vintage baseball cards, so check him out if you haven't already. So anyway, the schedule, let me first of all, bear with me on this because I ran through this a few times trying to get a way to do it, and it's kind of like going to be a little awkward. But anyway, here's the original Oakland Raiders patch. But anyway, let me give you a little narrative here. So I was a ball boy for the Raiders in 1965. The 65 Raiders season was the team's sixth in both the Oakland and the American Football League, a rival league to the NFL. The AFL lasted from 1960 to 1969 before merging into the NFL. In 1965, the Raiders would finish 8-5-1, not enough to win the division or a postseason berth. The 65 season would be Al Davis's last as head coach, as he would be named commissioner of the AFL in 1966. He would be replaced by John Rawls in 1966 as head coach of the Raiders. The 1965 season was the first of 16 consecutive winning seasons for the Raiders. It is also the rookie season of Hall of Famers wide receiver Fred Biletnikoff and center Jim Otto. In 1965, the 1965 season was the team's last at Frank Ewell Field. The site it was built on was once one of several temporary housing tracts built by the federal government to house workers who poured into the San Francisco Bay Area by the thousands during World War II to work in the shipyards. Give you another little sticker here to look at. Frank Ewell Field had a seating capacity of 22,000 fans. They played there from 1962 to 1965. Get you a picture of Frank Ewell Field. And I will come back to this picture eventually. So it's seated 22,000 fans, and they played there from 1962 to 1965. They would move to the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum the following season, which is where they've been playing until they moved to Las Vegas. I think that's going to be next year or the year after, and this is where the Oakland A's now play. From 1960 to 61, they played their first 4 games at Kezar Stadium, which is right here. Okay. And the rest of their home games at Candlestick Park until Frank Ewell Field was built in 1962. Kezar was also the home of the San Francisco 49ers for 24 years before they moved to Candlestick. And they now have a new ballpark in Santa Clara. The film Dirty Harry shot scenes at Kezar Stadium. Okay, so that's a little history of the early Oakland Raiders and the couple of stadiums they played in. And let's see, let me move this over here. Find another like I say, bear with me, guys and gals, if any gals are actually watching this. Okay, so here was the schedule that the Raiders had in 1965. First 3 games were at home, played the Chiefs. They won 37-10, lost to the Chargers 16-7, and beat the Oilers 21-17. Then they went on the road, won 2 games, tied 1, and they were back at home. Okay, so they played 8 games on the road and 7 games at home that year. Okay, so they had a 15-game schedule. Let's see. All right, so let me go back to Frank Ewell Field here for next little bit of a narrative. The way I got the job working as a ball boy for the Raiders was that one of my good friends who grew up across the street from me got the job working with the Raiders, and they needed a ball boy, so he asked me if I wanted to do it, and I said, yeah, of course. So that's how I became a ball boy. And if you notice here at Frank Ewell Field, see how close the seats are, the stands, to the playing field? I mean, they were like right on top of us. And I'm probably somewhere right down in here somewhere if I was on the field. Now, what my job was is because the stands were so close to the field that I would position myself about 10, 15 yards from the line of scrimmage from the direction that the ball was in play. And I would have to scoop up any of the footballs that were thrown, passes that were incomplete, or kicks or that went out of bounds. I'd have to try to prevent the fans from getting them because this was a roped off. That's all that prevented the fans from hitting the field was the rope. And when the ball would bounce over there, that rope had a lot of pressure as fans would try to get the ball, and sometimes they went under the rope, and it was really wild. And in the end zone, they had a screen that would knock down any field goal or extra points, and the balls would hopefully drop down behind the grandstands here. And they didn't always do that. But when they did, well, what we would do is position ourselves behind the stands here. And if you've ever been behind stands in a high school game or whatever, you'll know that there's a lot of crossbars underneath there holding them up. So during one of the games, I was under this area end zone here and waiting for the field goal. I don't remember what team we were playing. It might have been the Chiefs, but I'm not sure. And so the field goal was kicked. The ball hit the screen, dropped straight down. And as I went in to get the ball, I saw some fans that broke past the security guards over in the corner over here. And so I ran in like really fast, almost like a sprint. And I got the ball in the first bounce, and as soon as I looked up, I caught one of those crossbars right in the forehead, and I went down like a ton of bricks. But I did not fumble, and I did not lose consciousness, surprisingly. I mean, I really hit that sucker hard. And I missed the rest of that game because it was towards the end of the game. They took me up to the press, where the first aid department was, somewhere behind this field. So anyway, that was kind of interesting. And other games, we'd be like on the sidelines here, and balls would go, incomplete passes or punts or field goals or whatever that would bounce, and the fans would try to get them. And number of times I would be in a dog pile with fans on top of me trying to get a football that I had recovered or one of my buddies recovered. And it was just a wild scene. You guys can't even imagine what that was like. No one ever got hurt, but I mean, as crazy as it was, we had a blast. It was so much fun. And before the games, we'd set up the locker rooms for all the players, get all their equipment in their lockers, and so everything was all ready for them. They come in, and after the games, we would clean up the locker room. We'd pick up all the towels and the uniforms and throw them in the laundry bags, and somebody would come by and pick them up. And one of the games I remember, this was Joe Namath's rookie season, and I remember Namath, after a game, the Raiders had won that game, and walked into the locker room after the game, and Namath was sitting there on the bench as I walked in, and thought I had a card of Namath to show. I guess not. Anyway, so it was like, I walked in there and I walked in and I saw Joe Namath sitting on the bench wearing red silk underwear. And that was the first time I'd ever seen silk underwear. And of course, we all know Joe Namath was quite a character and pretty flamboyant. Great guy, great quarterback, Hall of Famer. And thought I had a picture of him, but I guess I don't. Sorry. Oh, yeah, I do. Here he is, about to get sacked by the Raiders. This is a cool picture here. This is number 83 over here is Ben Davidson, defensive end, who was not liked by many teams because they felt he was a pretty dirty player at times. And number 85 there was, I'm trying to remember who that was. I got a picture of him here somewhere. That was, no, I'll show a picture. Oh, Carlton Oates, that's who it was. 85, Carlton Oates. Big dude. Good ball player. All right, so that's about all I have here. I'm just going to show you some other pictures here. Art Powell, wide receiver. These are my cards. I got these off of pictures off of eBay so I could show some pictures. Art Powell, like I say, great wide receiver. Ben Davidson. Billy Cannon, tight end, great tight end. Not sure if he's in the Hall of Fame, but if he's not, he probably should be. Here's another photograph of another game. This is Cotton Davidson, number 19 quarterback there. This one's against the Buffalo Bills, I believe. Yeah, Buffalo. And then Clem Daniels, number 36, I think he was, against the Houston Oilers. He was a good running back. And you can see again the stands, how close they were to the field. It's just unbelievable. And then, of course, Fred Biletnikoff. That was his rookie season. Tom Flores, great quarterback, eventually became the Raiders head coach. Another Freddie Biletnikoff. Harry Shue, great offensive lineman, he was a guard. Jim Otto. Jim Otto lived up near where when my dad retired. He'd bought 50 acres in Northern California up in the foothills and built a house up there. And Jim Otto was one of the neighbors about a couple of miles away. And about 20 years, excuse me, after, I'd been working with the Raiders, Otto was trying to buy my dad's place, and out of the blue, he just asked Jimmy, "Hey, how's Tony doing?" And I was floored that he asked that, because I didn't think he even remembered me. I didn't think anybody would remember me. But anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. Jim Otto remembered me. Unreal. Okay, so I think that is it. So hope you guys like this. Have another Jim Otto photo there. And Tom Flores, and this is the last one. So that's it. Just kind of running off there, but hopefully you guys will enjoy this, and I'll leave a link to Joey Brings' channel down below, and this will probably be the only football video you ever see me do, because I do not collect football cards anymore. And I don't even, well, I have two that somehow someone sent me sometime down the road. I don't remember how I got them. But anyway, that's it. Take care, everybody. Till next time, keep on collecting the hobby, whether it be football, basketball, baseball, soccer, hockey. Just keep collecting. Take care, everybody. Bye.